why you'd say of course.
Well, living force from within what? Chat GPT or within the man?
Yeah, within you.
How do you know that?
Because ChatGPT told me so.
The same way that you'd know that God is your creator.
Do you see you have serious flaws when you're thinking?
What are the flaws?
Well, you're coming up with something on the fly to replace societal religions which you live around. I mean, you live within a Christian country, right?
I live in a country where the majority of people are Christian. The country itself isn't Christian.
So why don't you move to a Muslim country?
There's no poker there.
What about Jewish, like Israel? Why don't you move to Israel?
The poker there is sparse.
That's not true. All they do is gamble.
Let me look up how many poker places they have in Israel. Give me a second.
Or a Hindu country. Hindu country would be great for that. They love
Yeah, I mean, that'd be sick.
Actually, their whole religion is the fraud of the gambler.
Let me check. Israel. Let's see how many poker places they got in Israel.
Well, didn't they create Las Vegas?
Did Israel create Las Vegas? No, Israel did not create Las Vegas. There are some poker places. This is cool.
Mo Green was Jewish, wasn't
he? I mean, they do have some casinos. I'm looking up Israel. Israel has some decent poker rooms. It looks like this is kind of cool. The Tama Casino.
You should move there. I mean, it's a godless country. You can make up whatever you want over there.
I can make up whatever I want here too.
But you get locked up for it. So I mean, like,
I get locked up in the United States.
Consent laws? Yeah. Wouldn't you be worried about the age of consent laws and stuff like that?
In the United States, why would I be worried about that?
Because you're creating your own religion. I mean, what's your age of consent? I mean, you're not going with a Christian age of consent, are you? You're going with your own age of consent, just like everybody else. What's your age of consent?
I'd probably go with 18. I think that'd be fine.
So you're following the Christian dynamic? Why are you doing that? Do you believe that the Christian dynamic of I guess, relations with another gender is superior?
Is there scripture on the age of 18 being the age of consent? No, I'm sure that's
cross-reference Numbers 20, then we cross-reference with the book of Jubilee. So
if you feel discouraged right now, and it's hard to see how things can get better, remember, Jesus Christ rose from his darkest hour to lift you out of yours. Missionaries from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day helped you grow closer to Him. Come feel His greater love by rejoicing with us this Easter at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day. Tap the link below to get in touch with our missionaries who can connect you to your kids' congregation.
Why are you taking the Christian standpoint?
I don't think it's Christian. I don't think it's a Christian standpoint.
Who else espouses the same standpoint?
Some cultures. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think this is a. I haven't really thought this one through, but I'd be happy to just say.
Chat GPT, bro. Go get it on Chat GPT. You got your AI right there.
Oh, let's ask. Yeah, let's ask Chat GPT.
And this is what I was talking about earlier, right? When you refuse Jesus Christ as your rock, as your foundation, you're lost as an individual. You actually get into a mental illness. And now, if you see what he's doing, he's trying to make up his own religion based on Chat GPT, as though it's not propagated by people who work on the back end, just putting in little answers and adding in a few things here and there. Go ahead, bro. they allow you on internet access within the padded room?
Yeah, surprisingly.
What does ChatGPT say? What does it tell you about your world? The age just getting around a couple of years.
The age of sacred consent, 18 plus. This is the recognized minimum age for fully consensual sacred union, including romantic and sexual relationships within the religious framework. Why 18? By this age, followers have completed the blooming, the spiritual rite of passage. They've received spiritual, emotional, and practical training around relational responsibility, and they're treated as adults within the lighthouses and guilds.
Wow, so even ChatGPT is referring to the Christian dynamic. Does it say which religions ascribe to that?
It also says that Solera never overrides the civil laws of the country it's practiced in. It teaches that divine law.
After saying that 18 is a sacred age, are you seeing that ChatGPT is being restricted because of the civil laws of the society, and it should be rectified with this program?
To let them know like where they are, that they're ready to attack. And I had that happen once.
It never wants to
really
go
close to my
against
car. They started from
the
pretty
laws
far
of the
out,
land.
so they were probably about a mile
Right,
out.
but if you remember,
howling in every single direction. And so I moved into my fucking car, hopped in that bitch, and
would that be okay according to ChatGPT?
Let's check it out.
No, I showed you the picture of the mountain lion.
The basis of the law, and the law is based
Me and my buddy got stopped by a mountain lion at one point.
Isn't that weird? So you
out hunting, but it was just chilling. It was just chilling up the chilling, watching us. And
just like some kind of
when I
subset.
say hunting, we were hunting, but really we were
You're Gnostic.
stuff
You're making a Gnostic
in the middle of a field.
It's the opposite of
Getting
Gnosticism.
drunk and driving trucks.
How so, bro? I mean, you're on a Solera.
Type stuff.
I don't know, man. I don't think you're too intelligent for this conversation. I want to talk to Prashant. I never heard Prashant in a while. He's much more intelligent.
Yeah, I
Just like that stuff as you go on. Yeah, have a great one, man. Nice to you. You was having it, Prashant? You right?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How about you?
Doing fantastic, man. It just goes to show, Christ's logic supersedes all things. Here they all making a subset religion, all from Christianity. They're saying Christianity is the best. ChatGPT is saying it's sacred. But if it's Sharia law, ChatGPT says, no, it's sacred. It's Sharia law. It's like, man, what are they doing, bro?
Market reports. And this is prophecy coming true, man. All makers of idols doing driving the prices of used cars up like
That's a
crazy.
fact. When I start understanding how they're doing
We're
all this stuff,
forecasting
it's mostly like whitewashing. And a lot of men trying to put their names inside of history. I don't care about being in history, as long as the future society really have discernment about the world around them. And that's why I find that I can
That's a step in the
good
right
grasp
direction.
discernment between truth and reality and fiction.
Are you in the used car business?
Yes, because they're not treated to the right source. I've always been a car guy, man, since before I could.
If you think your
I've just been
everything
enthralled
truth
with cars.
comes from scientific
I
truth comes
often
from
ship
real
by
life,
the Tesla
or
here
it
before
comes
companies start shipping. I'm not actually afraid of tariffs. The people who I hear bitching about tariffs are people from countries.
You're in that. You're poised on a visit the term doom. It only comes from one place, and then worry about it.
Amen, brother. You know what's interesting the other day? I find that the highest level of intellectual conversations we have are really based upon Christ. All the other conversations are just like nonsense. Whenever you go through their fake science, whenever you like, what science do they have right now? They can't even rely on their science anymore. When I talk to them, it's like they're not keeping up with the data. I don't know you're a PhD, you're supposed to keep up with the data, right? But it seems like they're all using data from 2005, 2006. They haven't kept up with scientists today. So their gravity is thrown out. Their dinosaurs are thrown out. The pyramids are thrown out, made of concrete. And it's getting to the point where it's like, are people really doing the research, or are they just looking to kind of control people with their supposed level of intellectual knowledge?
You're relying on science right now, Midas, to be able to converse through a cell phone.
Well, this is practical science. It's a huge difference, right? So what we have is I guess, an overwhelming amount of theoretical science, which is all collapsing in front of us, such as the round earth concept, such as the fake Native Americans, the 1850s knew nothing, the third biggest political party that was mostly made up of immigrants. History itself is collapsing as far as what we knew of history. Science, as far as gravity, is now thrown out. Einstein is thrown out.
Do you believe in electricity?
We have to hold on to. Yeah, electricity is something totally different. It's practical, not theoretical.
Yeah, I'm just asking, do you believe in electrical? Do you believe in electromagnetic forces?
Yeah, actually, you can make an electromagnet at home.
And you believe in electricity and electrical currents?
Why don't you bring one of your theoretical concepts, and then we can talk about it?
Well, I just don't know what you consider theoretical and what you consider practical, because it's different than what science considers theoretical and what science considers practical.
Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are theoretical.
Do you believe in electromagnetics? Do you believe in the electromagnetic spectrum?
I'm not sure that concept, but is it?
Like visible light is like
used for your basis. Wait, if we're going to deal with a theory or a concept, you have to deal with one that's the root or the basis of your ideology. So, electromagnetic concept, does that have to do with your ideology or your quote-unquote religion of Solara? Or is it just something that you bring in the abstract?
No, this doesn't have to do with my new religion.
So what science do you have that backs your new religion?
What science do I have? This isn't the religion is meant to not. It's meant to not be scientific. It's not scientifically based. It answers questions that are not falsifiable.
So it's your imagination, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Midas. I mean, you said you didn't want to talk to me about that religion thing. I dropped it. I didn't talk to you about it. Now here you are bringing it up again.
Yo, unicorns and rainbows, man. It's all unicorns and rainbows. Yo, let me ask you a question. One scientific question. What is it?
Like my personal opinion. I think there are two definitions used by two different groups of people currently.
Which definition would your mother fit into?
Both.
Proceed.
So, when I hear a woman, I hear two different groups of people use two different definitions of a woman. There's a group of people that define a woman as a person that has female genitalia, or just like a vagina. And there's a group of people that define a woman as whoever identifies as a woman. And my mother both has the biological features of what is traditionally female and is also identifies as a woman. So it would meet both definitions.
Wait, hold on a second.
What if you would have a man?
Yo, go ahead, Bishop.
I was saying, what does that identification have to do with it? What if she identifies as, what if I identify as water? What does that identification do to the identity?
Yeah, that wouldn't. I don't think he'd be a water bottle, according to my definition. Because water bottles don't share that definition. I haven't heard that definition being used for water bottles in the English language.
What does it gain you to embarrass yourself in a public forum like this? Is this like I don't know, like self?
I'm just answering your question, Midas. I'm not.
No, but I mean, you know,
I don't think it's embarrassing to answer a question.
No, I think it was kind of embarrassing because you know most people who say they identify as a woman have male genitalia, right? So therefore, you're equating.
No, most people that identify as women have female genitalia. Midas.
I'm almost sure this is Honey Badger.
You're saying to identify.
I'm almost sure this is Honey Badger.
No, that's not true. There are plenty of women that, you know, when they're applying for a job, they say, "Are you male or female?" They put female. There are plenty of people when they go to a doctor's office, they have to, or like when they're doing paperwork or they're filing their taxes or whatever the fuck, they're identifying as female. Yeah.
Please don't curse on the stage. But wouldn't that be a delusion?
Seeing as it's the definition of a woman.
If they look in the mirror and they know they're not a woman, right? If a man just puts on the form, "Hey, I'm a lady," when he looks in the mirror every morning, he knows he's a man. Is he not lying to himself?
I think he just shares a different definition than you. He has a different definition of what a woman is than you do. You use a definition, and that's totally cool. And he just has a different definition for that word. And both definitions are used in society. Midas.
So what if instead of saying he's a woman, what if he says he's let's say a fat 500-pound white guy states that he's Oprah Winfrey and he just went through surgery to get lightening and a sex change. Would you have that in society? Do you think that would be normalized within society?
Did he change his name to Oprah Winfrey?
Yeah, legally changed his name to Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, then he is Oprah Winfrey, yeah.
And can he then go around trying to get access to Oprah Winfrey's, I guess, intellectual property?
No, he wouldn't.
If he did, would he be arrested?
He'd probably be denied. Just denied.
Yeah, but impersonating a public figure, you can be arrested, right? That's a felony.
Oh yeah, like if he is trying to yeah, sure. Yeah. If he's literally trying to be Oprah Winfrey and committing identity theft, then sure, yeah, that he'd be arrested.
Right, so are men committing identity theft by claiming that they are women? And should they be charged as a felony for trying to do it?
It doesn't meet the criteria of the crime of identity theft by
the female
regendering yourself.
In the male bathrooms, I mean, they get an advantage. They also get an advantage from DEI hiring and stuff like that, where they work in affirmative action. So I mean, wouldn't that be kind of fraud? I mean, they know that they're not.
Well, Midas. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from becoming a police officer and arresting transgender people for this and going through the court system. You could do that, right? There's nothing stopping you.
Why are most mass shooters transgender?
I don't know if that's a true statement.
Look it up. There was a guy in Brooklyn the other day who was stabbed by a transgender, and the news had the nerve to call him a woman. You believe that? And they never retracted it. At the same time, the guy was stabbed, and they hit it up in the news. He was the father of a child. He was a post office worker, a regular, average, everyday guy, stabbed by a transgender who was supposed to be in jail because he was already convicted of a previous crime. But because of the soft crimes in New York, he was allowed to keep roaming the streets and terrorizing the streets.
Okay, so I'm looking at, I asked ChatGPT, are most mass shootings transgender? And the answer is no. Most mass shooters are not transgender. Data indicates that the vast majority of mass shootings in the United States are committed by cisgender men. According to a 2023 Reuters article, there's no evidence to suggest that transgender individuals are disproportionately responsible for mass shootings. Similarly, a USA Today article from the same year reported that incidents involving transgender or non-binary shooters are exceedingly rare. It's important to approach such topics with accurate information and to avoid perpetuating harmful stereotypes.
How is it a harmful stereotype? We just had a serial killer cult, the ZZZM group, who were running around killing regular cisgender people. I think they killed about 9 people, right? It was a group of 9 people who killed about 9 people. How is that now a stereotype for saying exactly what quite a few, it seems, transgenders are doing? I mean, if transgenders are only about less than 1% of the population, why so many of them are being seen committing murders?
Okay. So I asked ChatGPT, how is the stereotype harmful? And it responded, the stereotype that most mass shooters are transgender is harmful for several reasons. One, it misrepresents reality. The vast majority of mass shooters are cisgender men. Falsely linking mass violence to transgender people spreads misinformation and distracts from evidence-based approaches to addressing gun violence. 2, it fuels discrimination. This stereotype reinforces stigma against an already marginalized group. Transgender people face higher rates of violence, harassment, discrimination in healthcare, housing, employment, and education. Associating them with violence worsens their vulnerability. 3, it diverts attention from real causes. Mass shootings are complex events, often involving a mix of factors like access to firearms, mental health, domestic violence, and social isolation. Scapegoating a small minority group ignores these real contributors and undermines a serious policy discussion. And 4, finally, it increases the risk of targeted violence. Publicly blaming transgender people for mass violence can incite hate crimes and increase the risk of assault or murder against trans individuals who already face a disproportionate high rate of such violence. I think that was well worded. What do you think, Midas?
I think it's the usual glazing of the news over serious topics. This was tweeted out by one of our political leaders. The Colorado Springs shooter identified as non-binary. Denver shooter identified as trans. Aberdeen shooter identified as trans. Nashville shooter identified as trans. So we're seeing that there's a rise. And then I also add in the other ones which aren't even in this list. You know, there was another guy who I think was a gay bar shooter. He himself is also non-binary. So are you, well, from what I'm seeing, there's so many people that we can see within this demographic that are committing these mass murders. Isn't that because these people don't know what a woman is and they're trying to lie to themselves every day, that they are then perpetuating some kind of mental illness and then going in the streets and using violence in order to I guess, show their mental illness?
Give me 2 seconds here. So, the Newsweek article that you referenced discusses claims about an alleged increase in mass shootings perpetrated by transgender individuals. It highlights that while there have been a few incidents since 2018, these cases represent a very small fraction of the total number of mass shootings in the United States. Experts cited in the article indicate that transgender individuals are not overrepresented amongst mass shooters. This perspective aligns with the data from other reputable sources. For instance, a Reuters fact check found that the vast majority of mass shootings are carried out by cisgender men. Similarly, the Washington Post reported that nearly all mass shooters are male, with only a minuscule percentage being transgender. It's important to approach such topics with accurate information to avoid perpetuating harmful stereotypes. Falsely attributing mass shootings to transgender individuals can contribute to discrimination and divert attention from broader issues associated with gun violence.
And this is the problem, right? A lot of this stuff is posted in response to news coming out that so many of these people were trans. And once they started getting into the news, they started covering it over. So the older you get back into the links, you see that there's a direct correlation between mass shooting and transgender mentality. Because of the fact that transgenders only represent 0.6% of the population, I still believe that if you have about 3 or 4 mass shooters, that's way overrepresented. They're trying to say that you have 646 or so mass shootings. I mean, is that really representative of what we see in the news? Inside the news, we have the major mass shootings that we see are usually perpetuated by transgenders.
What you're saying is
like finish off, right? The NationalReview.com in 2024, they did this article. Now, the rest of it is behind a paywall. Why the rise in trans shooters? To address the rise in trans shooters. I'm not making this up.
Okay, so this explores 2 theories regarding mass shootings by individuals by identifying as transgender. However, it is essential to contextualize this discussion within a broader statistical set.
People don't even think anymore.
Comprehensive
They just reach out to
transgender
each
individuals
other.
are not disproportionately represented amongst mass shooters. Do you agree or disagree with this statement, Midas?
This is so funny.
What's the statement again? I was trying to get some more links.
Okay.
How